national date, regardless of what our school year is. Dual credit courses. So we have a lot of high school students that take dual credit at our community colleges. They're going to be obviously on a different calendar. How will all of that work out?
Yeah, and I think you're right in that. I think childcare is going to be an enormous factor in all of this and a challenge, because if we're talking about, yes, you've shortened the summer, and depending on every family situation, whether they have a parent at home or not, it can be a big factor. But then you're looking at, fall break. Instead of a couple of days, you're looking at an extended period of time. And it's one thing to, if you get 2 weeks of vacation and take the one in spring and take the one in over the Christmas holiday break, it's a big difference. Mm. So we're talking with Karen Carson, Knox County School Board member, Dr. Elizabeth Alves, with Assistant Superintendent with Knox County Schools, about the proposed balanced calendar, a change to when your kids would go to school. If you'd like to give us a call, 1-800-951-TALK, 656-TALK. If you'd like to give us a call here on News Talk 98.7. We'll take a break. Be back with more after this.
I want to read you a letter. Dear Christian Healthcare Ministries, we appreciate your help and prayers covering us in our time of need. What a gift it was to receive funds to help pay for my daughter's emergency. Thank you for sharing the cost that was before us. We are extremely thankful for this ministry. We praise the Lord for his great love and provision. We are also letting all of our close friends and family know about this wonderful, godly way of caring and sharing one another's burdens. Thank you and God bless. This is a letter to Christian Healthcare Ministries from Sharon in Peachtree City, Georgia, but there are tens of thousands of people across the country who are saying the same thing about Christian Healthcare Ministries. It is not insurance. It is a voluntary cost-sharing ministry of Christians sharing each other's healthcare costs. It's affordable and compassionate. I do not have health insurance. My wife and I don't have it. We are members of Christian Healthcare Ministries, and we couldn't be happier. If you're a Christian and are interested in finding out about this, Christian Healthcare Ministries, call them at 1-800-791-6225, 1-800-791-6225, the website, chministries.org.
Why should you depend on the folks here at News Talk 98.7?
We report news when it happens. You're not waiting on a 6 o'clock news or an 11 o'clock news.
We have people who've been in this radio station for 20 years who care about East Tennessee. They care about their listeners.
We're going to give them the right information, not something secondhand. We're going to give them the information that is correct.
Thank you for trusting News Talk 98.7. WOKI.
I have told you many times about my friends Mike and Laura Myers at Myers Law Firm in Knoxville. Purposefully small, personal attention, and better results. These experienced honors graduates of the UT College of Law will make sure that it feels like you're walking into someone's home when you walk into their law firm, and it's absolutely free to talk to them. If you've been wronged in a car wreck or a premises liability injury, call them. 865-24-7-TALK. 865-247-8255. Myers Law Firm. If you have transmission trouble, for over 30 years, CHIPS Transmission has been the answer to East Tennessee's transmission problems. And right now, save $50 on any certified transmission tune-up service at CHIPS. It can fix many tranny problems, plus will save you money on any other repairs. 584-1585. CHIPS Transmissions. Fast, reliable, unbeatable warranty. CHIPS Transmissions. Sevierville, Seymour, now in Knoxville at 418 North Shore Drive. Online at chipstrans.com.
Heather Harrington here, and I have to tell you about Svelte. Svelte is located at 6006 Walden Drive, just off of North Shore near Hammond Goodies, and they offer strawberry laser lipo. This is a non-invasive, pain-free way to rid your arms, back, stomach, or wherever of unwanted fat. You just sit there and let the strawberry laser melt fat off your body. I lost 2.5 inches during my first treatment. Mention this ad and you can get 25% off any services Svelte offers. If you're ready to look your best in 2015, call 312-5696 for Svelte.
Chancey & Reynolds is the big dog in heating and air conditioning because heating and air conditioning is all they do. And they do it right at a fair price. Don't call a plumbing or a jack-of-all-trades company to install a new ream system or service your current heating and air unit. Call the specialist, Chancey & Reynolds, at 525-5076. That's 525-5076.
The big dog of heating and cooling. The big dog.
Interiors.com.
This is Halloran. Monday morning, education vouchers, will they work in Tennessee? Representative Bill Dunn and others think they will. We'll talk it out Monday. Plus, political DNA, a new concept. We control the yo-yo of talk with the looped string of truth, starting at 5:30. The Halloran Hilton Hill Morning Show, News Talk 98.7, WOKI.
We don't need no education.
And we're back here on State Your Case. I'm Jake Quaintance in for George Korda this afternoon. George is on assignment. You can ask him what that means when he gets back. Phone lines open at 1-800-951-TALK if you'd like to give us a call, and 656-TALK. And we're talking about a proposal to change the Knox County school calendar. And, we were talking in the break. It's coming up faster than you think in terms of when a decision could be made. So meetings are coming up. You can go to Knox County Schools website and find out when a meeting will be held in the part of the community you live in. They're taking public input on this, but they could be voting on this as early as May or June, and to set up the calendar for the 2016-2017 school year. And we're talking about a balanced calendar, which would shorten the summer and then have more longer breaks during the rest of the school year. In studio, we have Karen Carson, Knox County School Board member, Dr. Elizabeth Alves, also with Knox County Schools. She's the Chief Academic Officer. And if you'd like to give us a call, 656-TALK, 1-800-951-TALK here on the program. So this isn't the first time Knox County Schools has brought this up and looked at this and talked about it. I recall, I don't know how many years ago it was, but there was a group, Save Our Summers, because I think if I recall correctly, the proposal at the time was to go back to school like early August, right? And some parents didn't like that idea. I guess what makes you think that they might like this idea this time around? Or do you think that you're trying to, I don't know, listen to a broader group, and because this was a pretty vocal group against that calendar proposal at the time.
Yeah, and I think what occurred, it was kind of like a merging of all the stars to hit at the wrong time during that time. Gradually, our calendar start date had moved up and up and up, and then it moved kind of a bigger leap in order to give a full week of fall break. And there are many, many people who still bemoan the fact that we no longer have fall break, or that it's only 2 days, which would make you think that we had had fall break forever. And in fact, I think we only had it for 2 years, a full week of fall break. But the effect of having that full fall break moved our calendar start date up earlier. And it was kind of enough is enough. I think parents saw a gradual starting early and earlier. And then with the weekend that fell that day, we were starting like August 6th. And I think that was just when, people just reached the point where it said, hey, wait, stop. Let's talk about this. Which I think is a good thing. It makes you, sometimes you get tunneled in on something like getting a fall break in and not stepping back and looking at the whole picture. That's what I think we're trying to do right now. Let's step back, look at the whole picture. I will say up front right now, most educators I talk to, definitely most principals I talk to, are in favor of this balanced calendar. I don't have a position on it yet. I really do want to get I want to be compelled to make that move.
Phone lines are open at 1-800-951-TALK, 656-TALK if you'd like to give us a call. And let's go to the phones and talk to Tom. Tom, thanks for calling here on State Your Case.
Hey, good morning. Or afternoon, I guess.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank
It depends on if you changed your clock in time or not.
Well, evidently I did.
Okay, good.
I want to thank the two ladies for coming on and starting an open forum. As we get closer to this becoming, I think, a reality, I would hope the board and the school system in general open to the public questions and answers, because a lot of people are going to be very resistant to it, me included. I've got a boy who's starting next year into the school system. I come from my father was chairman of a school board in Tennessee, and my mother was a teacher and a principal, so I'm probably a little more well-versed than your average Joe. But I think at the end of the day, my big concern is, what's the research say? Does it help the kids? And I'm also a believer in follow the dollar. Does it help the county? Does it help the school system to save money in conventional and non-conventional ways? And I don't know the answer to that, but I just hope that you all continue to have an open dialogue of what can I guess probably really the first step into it.
Yeah, thanks, Tom.
Yeah, Tom, I would agree with you. I think the research is going to be a strong component of it. And I think that there are enough systems throughout the country and even, throughout our region that have used this now that we should be able to get some good information. And, I have to say that in the 4 questions that I have before there, how's the community feel? What do teachers think? What's the research show? And what's the fiscal impact? I don't know that any one is a wipe it all away, although if you can't afford it, you can't afford it.
But Dr. Alves, what does you probably looked at the research. What does the research show?
So the research is somewhat mixed in terms of academic improvement. There's something called summer learning loss that occurs during that long summer break when students are not in school and engaged in learning activities. And for our students who are at risk, our students who are living in poverty, that summer learning loss can be quite significant. So by shortening the summer, some of the studies have shown improvements, academic improvements for students, and as well as all students, if that opportunity is available for them for the additional support during the intersessions, for the enrichment activities, and that kind of thing. But beyond the academic performance gains, there are, the research strongly suggests that it does have a positive impact on student and teacher attendance, on students' attitudes towards school, on student behavior. Most of the research suggests that you see fewer discipline problems. And it's an opportunity for us to think also about how we provide professional development time for teachers as well. So there's some opportunities during that intersession to meet that need.
And Tom was asking about also, let me get there. Tom was also asking about cost. And so is there a chance, does it look like this would save money, save the school system money, or would it actually cost the system more money?
So I think it really depends on how we implement the balanced calendar. If we simply move the instructional days that we currently have and offer no additional instruction, then it's basically cost neutral. If we believe that the point of doing this is to provide that additional instructional time, then, we're going to need to really look at what does that mean? How many days do we go? Is it a half day or a full day? Are there community resources that we can leverage to help us? And so all of those things, I think, will need to be considered as part of that conversation.
But for the most students, they would go the same number of days under this new system as the current system. Is that right? It would just be some students might go extra days, right?
Again, that depends.
Okay.
And, that will be based on what our community, indicates that they would like to see. I think certainly we would like to provide the opportunity for struggling students. But there are, great opportunities for us to think about additional instruction for all students.
Well, we got to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about that, because one thing too I see is teacher compensation could go up under this. So we'll talk about that and how to pay for it. And another school system in East Tennessee was looking at this as well, and now they're not. And we'll talk about why they're not after the break. Phone lines open at 1-800-951-TALK, 6566-TALK if you'd like to give us a call. I'm Jay Quaintance in for George Korda. We'll be back with more after this.
Hi, I'm Val Privet, owner of Privet Insurance Group, a local independent insurance agency in Knoxville. We represent Travelers, Selective, Progressive, State Auto, and Safeco, all financially strong companies. We don't promise saving you 15% in 15 minutes because it takes longer to assess your situation and recommend proper coverage. We want to give you peace of mind before a claim because we all know that claim time is the wrong time to discover you're not properly protected. One call to us gets 5 choices of companies. So call today for your auto, home, and life insurance needs. And by the way, we beat the lizard 7 out of 10 times with better coverage.
The Lyric Hearing Aid a modern innovation for hearing improvement, is available only at Farragut ENT on Concord Road. 2 certified lyric hearing professionals are on site to administer a free screening. Finally, effortless hearing is possible. A soft and comfortable device almost entirely hidden within the ear is the first hearing aid designed to be worn 24 hours a day for months at a time. Call Farragut ENT today at 777-1727 or visit online at farraguthearing.com.
All kitchens are not created equal. More and more are created by Knoxville Stone Interiors. This local small business is female-owned with 3 generations in the natural stone industry. You get first-quality granite, marble, silestone, dull tile, 1 quartz, and other hard surface countertops, vanities, fireplace surrounds, and outdoor kitchens. Most installs take less than 1 day. Small jobs are welcome, and you only pay for the portion of the slab you use. Knoxville Stone Interiors, 6,000 kitchen makeovers and counting. Call 865-971-5800 or knoxstoneinteriors.com. You wouldn't want your meal shipped from another continent.
Why would you want your favorite radio station streamed from across the globe?
News Talk 98.7 has created a super cool app that not only allows you to stream our best shows and music, but it also gives you access to great local deals like half-off top restaurants, concerts, and more. Just go to newstalk987.com and download our groovy cool app. Keep it local, keep it simple, keep it connected with newstalk987.com.
.org. Sunny and mild today with high temperatures near 60 degrees. Clouds move in tonight with lows in the upper 30s. From the VLT Local 8 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist John Carroll.
I'm good enough. We all need affirmation sometimes.
I'm smart enough.
Like us on Facebook.
And doggone it, people like me.
Just search News Talk 98.7.
And welcome back into State Your Case. I'm Jake Quaintonson for George Korda this afternoon here on News Talk 98.7. In this hour, we're talking about balanced calendar or round school. And we are talking with Karen Carson, Knox County School Board member, and Dr. Elizabeth Alves, Assistant Superintendent and Chief Academic Officer for Knox County Schools. And this proposal is coming up quick. There are meetings coming up. With this coming week, there's some more public meetings that you can go to the Knox County Schools website and find out which school is having those that you can attend and find out more. And I guess not just find out more, but let you all know what they think about it. And plus, surveys will be going out. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. At these meetings right now, it's always a tough decision on how to involve and engage the community in decisions that come before the board, because you want their input to make your decision. If we go out after we've really studied an issue and we then have community meetings, I generally hear a number of people who say, well, you've already made your decision. And if we go out with an open slate and say, tell us what you think, they're like, well, you can't answer my questions. We're doing that this time. We're really going out there and say, raise all the questions you have. I'm not asking you to give me an informed opinion right now. At these community meetings in my districts, we're just asking you, raise all the questions you have. They can go to the website at the Farragut schools. We have a website, their homepage, where they can answer some questions and ask some questions. And then later, through a survey that we're going to send out community-wide to all stakeholders, that's going to be more of a definitive. I think we'll be doing, what does this look like in this kind of proposal? What are your thoughts? And I think that's where we'll be able to get better opinions.
I had mentioned before the break that an area school system was also looking at this and is not going to pursue it, and that's Monroe County Schools, that they were looking at an alternative school calendar, shortening the summer break, adding extra weeks to the fall and spring break. And the superintendent says that they sent out a survey and 63+% of those who responded liked the current traditional calendar, so he's not gonna move forward. Is this if the survey comes back to you all and it's like that, is that then is it over? Is you just going to listen to what the people responding, and if 50+1% say they don't want it, is the idea dead?
I think the four factors that I look at are all going to interplay. So for me, if a majority of teachers say they don't want it, that's going to influence me greatly to say, nope, it's not a good idea. But if a majority, 70+% of teachers say this is a good thing for kids and for teachers, and it's revenue neutral or revenue doable, and the academic research shows that it's a plus, and 48% of the parents say it's good, so 52 say no, I would probably go with it. So they all interplay. I think people, the other thing that we forget, why do I heavily weight what teachers say? First, they got to carry it out. They have to live it every day, just like a parent, but a lot of the other consumers and taxpayers don't. People forget, though, about that job of the teacher. When I talk to community about how it gives them a chance to take a break and refresh, so many of us in my professional job, even in Children's Hospital, if I'm having a day that's really hard, I can look at my colleagues and say, you know what, I'm going outside for just 10 minutes to walk and take a break so I can refresh. A teacher doesn't have that opportunity. They have to be on point from the moment they walk in. Those kids are looking at them till the moment they leave, and then even when they go to the grocery store. So there's a lot of value to me in what the teacher says about what this break would mean to them.
We're talking about a balanced calendar proposal. Phone lines open at 1-800-951-TALK or 656-TALK if you'd like to give us a call. And let's head back to the phones, talk to Al. Al, thanks for calling here on State Your Case.
Thank you.
You have a question or a comment for us?
I do. I'm a marriable parent, so I've suffered under this calendar for quite some time. And it just doesn't seem to work well with trying to have any sort of, go on a summer vacation, kids having a summer job, and it affects our community in other ways. See, some of this minor stuff, like our pools are not open during the month of August, the hottest month of the year, because school's in session. They're open in May before Memorial Day when it's too cold to get in the water, but everything has to revolve around the schools. We have this 2-week fall break that a lot of people can't get off from work to do anything during, and the way Maryville does their breaks in the fall and the spring, the breaks should normally start on a Wednesday or Thursday, and they end 2 weeks later on a Wednesday or Thursday. So it's half a week, one whole week, and a half a week. And that just interrupts things even further for the students. Now, I have several acquaintances who are school board members and say, we've surveyed the parents, and they overwhelmingly like it. I've seen those surveys, and never do those surveys have an option for traditional school calendar. So the parents don't have a whole lot to choose from. You get to choose whether you want a 1 week or a 2 week fall break, and still our students are going back to school in July, which I guess I'm just old-fashioned, but kids should be outside playing in the summertime.
So, how do your kids like it?
They don't like it
they don't
very
like
much. We've been lucky if we can get in a 1 week vacation sometime in late June. The first week of July, if you try to go on vacation, it's 4th of July weekend, it's very expensive because the last 3 weeks of the summer break are normally tied up with other school events, either sports training, band camps. They have school pictures mandatory the week before school opens. The kids have to be back early for that. So the break isn't even what they say it is. You basically get the month of June.
Well, I appreciate you giving us a call and your perspective because, yes, you've lived it. So
I've lived it for the last 17 years. This is my last year of it.
All right. Al, thanks for giving us a call. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think he's got a point that a lot of people, can relate to. Dr. Alves, what about what I didn't realize Maryville was where they would, when they went on fall or spring break, they're going in the middle of the week and coming back in the middle of the week. What would Knox County do?
Well, I think, again, that's all open for discussion. And speaking with the superintendent in Maryville, they've structured that time for Their intersession, the first 3 days, they have a full week off for the students, and then they have 2 days of professional development for teachers. So, that would be something, obviously, that we would want to consider. Oak Ridge City Schools they're going to have a 2-week break, a Monday through Friday. So, I think if we were to go to this type of calendar, we would want to, again, be responsive to our community needs and make a decision that's in the best interests of our students and families.
Well, it seems like at least we've gotten away from some of the ridiculousness of school start dates and stuff, or going back to school where the first day of school is 2 hours, and we start on a Tuesday, or we start on a Thursday, or it's. It never made sense. And if, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like we're kind of getting away from that, at least, and being a little bit more sensible with when kids start and stop school, and following breaks and stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's head back to the phones and talk to Tommy. Tommy, thanks for joining us here on State Your Case.
Yes, I teach in Anderson County, and I've seen a lot of improvement in our schools in the 14 years that I've been there, but I'm a strong proponent of the traditional calendar. We do a lot of things in the summertime. I teach ROTC, and we have camps that we go to, leadership training. We have a chance to get together with our colleagues from other schools. Most of the teachers do that. Some of them just decompress because, as the doctor said, they are on point most of the day, and you need some of that time. My experience is that when we're out for 2 weeks, and if you do that multiple times, you lose a lot at the start of each one of those new in-session periods after a 2-week layoff, because the students pretty much stop. If you do it one time during the summertime and then take shorter breaks, as we do now, then a Christmas break mid-year, I think that traditional schedule has a lot of benefits. People can have more flexibility in taking vacations with their family, which is beneficial. Teachers have time to take courses at UT or other schools. There's a lot of benefit from that, and it does give the students some time off, maybe a time to take a job, maybe a time to work with their family, and those things are very beneficial to not only the student but the community around them.
Tommy, would you be interested in it a little bit, though, if during those 2-week periods when there's a break, if one of those weeks you were able to, come back in and teach some students and get paid extra for it?
I never am not teaching students. As an ROTC instructor, I'm a community example. We take our students. I've never had a fall or spring break when we didn't take our students, or at least scheduled to take our students. One time we had a trip canceled because the Navy couldn't support us going to San Diego because they were bringing people into the barracks that we were going to use. But I've been with students virtually every day. Yesterday we had a car wash, and we're there for color guards on weekends and doing UT ball games. And so our situation is a little bit different for the classroom teachers that are actually teaching courses. And we do teach. We teach military science and naval history and astronomy and a variety of things that we do labs for. But for those teachers that are teaching math 6 hours a day, usually some extra morning classes, some remediation in the daytime, if they're interested in doing that, that's a wonderful thing. But I don't think scheduling that in is a particular advantage.
All right. Tommy, thanks for the phone call. Karen or Dr. Alves, do you have any thoughts on what the issues he raised?
Well, what I'd like to address is when you talked about would he as a teacher be interested in the incentive? And I had that question out at the Farragut schools at our community meeting. I don't believe that really plays a part in what our teachers are going to say. Teachers have a unique skill set that they have that makes them really adaptable to a lot of things. So if it's incentive pay, if it's pay or salary that really motivates a teacher, they can take that skill set and go into many, many businesses in the business world and make tons more money. So I don't think that's a motivator for them. I think the idea of being able to catch students when they're just a little behind instead of a year behind is an incentive to them. But the idea of making an additional week's salary, I may be wrong, but I think that, that's just a non-issue at that point. We surely would have to pay them, and I would want to, but I don't know that would be an incentive for them to want to go to the calendar.
Dr. Evans, what about you? The concerns he raised. I mean, there's the decompression part of it. There is the break to maybe to take other classes or professional development. What are your thoughts?
In listening and speaking with teachers over the past couple of years, as you know, we've had quite a bit of change in the state of Tennessee, moving to higher standards, and the expectations and the work that our teachers are doing in the classroom every day is substantially increased. And, so the opportunity for folks to have a break after an intensive 9-week period of instruction, I think is very intriguing to our teachers. They're working really hard, and to have that time to refresh, to have that time to look forward to, again, to have a chance to work with some of the students that need help the most. What we're hearing from teachers is that there's a lot of interest in having that opportunity.
One thing he did mention too was he was concerned that the 2-week break, though. I mean, you talk about the summer break and students not staying up on their studies, but a 2-week break, a concern with that. And in fact, I guess really Knox County just experienced that. Not by design, but because of all the weather. And it certainly felt like everyone was out of sorts because of that 2-week break. Would that not, I mean, you kind of have an example by accident. Did you see anything with teachers, students, schools being off for 2 weeks of kind of struggling to get back into the groove?
I think that example was a little unusual in that it wasn't planned.
Mm-hmm.
And, every time we thought we were actually going back to school, we had another weather event that prohibited that. So I think, knowing that we have a 2-week break coming up, there are lots of opportunities to think about how we would engage students in learning opportunities and experiences outside of school. My experience, I was in classrooms the week that we came back last week, and it was school as usual. Actually, the feedback that I received was that students were rested. They were excited to be back in school, as were teachers. And there was a lot of focused instruction going on in classrooms that very first day. So, sometimes having a little break to refresh and re-energize is really beneficial to student learning. So we didn't see any indication that would not be the case if we had this planned in our calendar on the front end.
So we're talking about a change to the Knox County school calendar, proposed change. There's still discussions happening. There's public meetings coming up. You can go to the Knox County Schools website and find out when the next one is near you. And then this could be voted on as early as May or June for the 2016-2017 calendar. So make sure your thoughts are heard now and not wait until the last minute. We're going to take a break. Phone lines are open if you'd like to give us a call, 1-800-951-TALK, 656-TALK if you'd like to give us a call here on News Talk 98.7 WOKI. We'll be back after this.
Fleener Security Systems will keep you safe. Fleener, that's Fleenor, Security Systems, operates this area's only Underwriters Laboratories listed central alarm monitoring station. That means your call is answered locally when your home or business alarm goes off. And if you go to Fleener's website, Fleener, Fleenor, SS.com, FleenerSS.com, here's what you'll find. Services for small business, commercial, residential. You'll find information about their wireless security systems. They've even got a method by which the Fleener monitors, the folks monitoring, can talk to people who come into or onto your property and aren't supposed to be there, and they can also direct police directly to the people who aren't supposed to be there. Fleener's got it all. Fleener Security Systems, 966-5507, 966-5507, or the website is FleenerSS.com. Fleener Security Systems. It'll keep you safe.
When East Tennessee was racked by ice, snow, and bitter cold, News Talk 98.7 brought you the latest.
A state of emergency has been
what to expect of the weather.
Mostly freezing rain and sleet.
Updates on power outages.
Right now, reporting 314 homes.
Plus school and business cancellation.
University of Tennessee will have no classes.
Hearing a wreck in Jefferson County, 40 westbound.
Bringing you the big news for more than 20 years.
22 deaths are blamed on this
Thanks
storm.
for trusting the news and talk of East Tennessee. News Talk 98.7 WOKI.
I've told you many times about my friends Mike and Laura Myers at Myers Law Firm. These honors graduates of UT College of Law have recovered millions of dollars for car wreck and premises liability clients. They can help you. It's free to call them. Now, they're very knowledgeable about how to deal with insurance company. That's who stands in the way between you and some kind of justice. Listen, if you've been injured as a result of someone's fault or wronged, you call them, 865-24-7-TALK, 865-247-8255, Myers Law Firm.
I'm Scott Hamilton, and I'm a cancer survivor. I'm so proud to announce that the Provision Center for Proton Therapy in Knoxville is now one of the first members of the nationwide Scott Hamilton Cancer Alliance. Proton therapy targets cancer while sparing healthy tissue around the tumor. If you've been diagnosed with cancer, check with your doctor and see if proton therapy is right for you.
Call 865-862-1600 or visit provisionproton.com to learn more about proton therapy.
.org. The Phil Show.
Well, I will tell you this. It looks so much better. Don't you think, ladies?
Do you want to feel of it? Let's go feel of it.
Go feel of it? Let's all go touch Landon's back.
Afternoons on News Talk 98.7 WOKI.
And welcome back to State Your Case. I'm Jay Quaintance in for George Korda this afternoon. We are talking about the school calendar, and Knox County Schools is looking at a balanced calendar, which would mean a shorter summer break, but longer breaks during the fall and spring and winter, right? So that would be, 8 weeks of break in the summer and then 2-week breaks sprinkled throughout the school year. And it's something that the school board is looking at and could vote on as early as May or June. So there are meetings that are scheduled for this week that you can go to the Knox County Schools website and find out where they are. Plus surveys will be sent out if you'd like to let them know how you feel about that. And we're talking about it with Karen Carson, Knox County School Board member, and Dr. Elizabeth Alves, Assistant Superintendent for Knox County Schools and the Chief Academic Officer. If you'd like to give us a call, 1-800-951-TALK is the phone number, 1-800-951-TALK or 656-TALK. Give us a call. Let's head back to the phones and talk to Mike. Mike, thanks for calling here on State Your Case.
Thanks for taking me. I've got some questions about what they expect the effect of effectively cutting summer break, much shorter is going to have on families where the youth employment really makes a difference to the family budget. I'm one of those. I'm a carpenter, and I struggle to provide my 17-year-old daughter with a car. And but her summer job last year in Oak Ridge, which is going to a balanced calendar next year, really provided her with all the money that she needed to provide fuel for that car and any non-essential items. If she could not work that summer job and make a couple $1,000 over the summer, she would be dressed totally in Walmart clothes. She wouldn't have any additional money to buy any kind of upgrade. And she'd be riding the bus because she wouldn't have money to fuel the car.
All right, we'll find out what our guests think about that. Thank you, Mike, for the phone call.
I think student employment is definitely one of the issues that have come up in the community meetings that we've had, and I think will continue to come up. I think the proposal that we are looking at, or the potential calendar being the 9-2, basically shorten summer from 10 weeks to 8 weeks. So it's not dramatically shorter. There is still opportunity for employment. I also don't know. It's a question that's out there, but what opportunities for employment during those 2-week intervals would exist for students? I think there are going to be, particularly high school students, there are going to be opportunities for childcare. in neighborhoods. I mean, I grew up babysitting. It's a great learning experience. And so I think that's something that does need to be explored, but I don't want to give the impression that we're looking at a change from 10 weeks of summer vacation to 4. It's 10 to 8.
Let me, we've only got a couple more minutes for this segment, for this hour. Let me talk a little bit about using technology to teach kids while they're at home. Like what we saw over the last couple of weeks with school out because of the weather. I know some schools have students who have like laptops or iPads or whatever that they can use. And so Dr. Alves, you were telling me that they were still sending them, I guess, homework during the break with the weather.
Absolutely. We actually have 13 schools where our students have one-to-one technology, one technology device for every student and every teacher. And we use a learning management system called Canvas, and that allows teachers to post assignments and allows them to interact with students anytime and anywhere. So many of our students, particularly in the high school, particularly in those advanced placement courses, students were in school, even though they were snug at home and during that snow event. So it really is an opportunity for us to think about how we can continue learning during these types of breaks, whether it's through a balanced calendar or an unexpected event such as the one we just had.
It does seem with the technology that we have now that's available that students could learn at home if they have the technology. Obviously, they need to have it, though. It's not, you can't count on every home having a computer or a laptop or an iPad to use it, or the access to the internet. So, but is that something you think that going forward is going to be something there's an expectation there, and it'll just increase the number of schools and students who have to do that?
That is certainly our desire. I think that, if you look at the world that we live in, technology is ubiquitous. And the more opportunities that we can provide this type of learning environment for our students, I think the better prepared they will be meeting the needs of the workforce or, post-secondary education. It is certainly not an inexpensive endeavor, though. And that's why we only have 13 schools currently in this pilot program. But it's certainly something that we would love to see expanded and be able to provide that for every student in our district.
Okay, well, we're about out of time. Karen Carson, Knox County School Board member, and Dr. Elizabeth Alves, Assistant Superintendent for Knox County Schools, Chief Academic Officer. Thank you both for joining us. If you want to find out where you can go to one of these meetings, it's on the Knox County Schools website. And then when is the survey getting sent out?
I'm not sure of the date.
Probably late April, early May.
Okay, and from then you'll have a school board meeting. So could be voting on this May or June.
Correct.
All right.
Check knoxschools.org.
knoxschools.org. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in the next hour, we'll be talking about vaccinations and what happens if you don't get your kids vaccinated, the public impact of that. We'll be back on the other side after this break.